Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. It is April the 19th, 2022. Last night was one hell of a night. You had the 76ers defeating the Raptors pretty dominantly. And I know the Raptors are pretty banged up right now, but, even if they weren't, the 76ers are definitely going to win that one. And rightfully so, because Joel Embiid is absolutely dominant. He was everywhere, and I don't know a single person on that Raptors squad that can actually guard him. So, my question to you guys is, are there concerns about James Harden? Guy had 14 points last night, and I can't remember, I think it was 3 for 10 or 3 for 11 or something like that. He had 6 assists. He played pretty dominantly. He was like a plus 19, but still. You have to think to yourself, is he good for the 76ers to go deep in the playoffs? Check this clip out and let me know what you guys think, and let's discuss it after.
What do you make of that back and forth between Embiid and Nurse?
That's just a normal conversation and competition. I do want to say this is something that's going to happen throughout the playoffs as long as Philly's still an active team. It started before Game 1. It happened between Game 1 and Game 2. The Raptors have been planting seeds in the media, talking about the fouling. This is what you're going to have to deal with when you play against Embiid and Harden. Those guys are so smart and so good at drawing fouls. And to me, last night, in those first 8-10 minutes of the game, the Raptors came out with an aggression. Fred VanVleet was awesome, came out with an aggression offensively and a physicality defensively. And Joel said, no, you cannot out-physical me. They're just outmatched in this series. Stephen A., when I look at this series, they're paying so much attention to Joel because they have no one that can even slow him down one-on-one. And their guards, their off-ball defenders are just sitting in these gaps with wide-open passing lanes, and it's like target practice. For Danny Green, for George Niang, for Shake Milton, these guys are getting wide-open practice threes. Feet set, clear lane, no one within 5 feet of them. I just don't think the Raptors have the personnel to slow this Philly team down. And on top of that, let's give a shout out to Tyrese Maxey, who has looked like a star in these first 2 games. They still need Harden to be some version of the Brooklyn Harden that we saw prior to the hamstring injury last year. I don't think they need him to be Houston Harden. But to win a championship, they need at least the Brooklyn Harden prior to the hamstring injury. But Tyrese Maxey, is he a second option? Is he a third? I don't know. He's amazing right now.
Let's get a couple of things out of the way, JJ Reddick. Don't disagree with anything that you said, but I got a different point of view I want to express.
Okay.
Number one, series is over. Let's get that out the way. Let's tell country Canada, it was really, really nice that your basketball team was in the postseason. It's over. Okay, you're not winning this series, all right? If you win this series, Doc Rivers will be out of a job. There's no way you can lose this series to the Toronto Raptors, and they're not going to lose it. I predict this series will be over in 5, if not a sweep. I'm just being nice. Because Masai Ujiri got so much respect for him, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet got so much respect for them that I don't want to call for a sweep. But you going home. This is over in 5. Let's get that out the way, number one. Number 2, Tyrese Maxey, beautiful game. Continuing to blossom. We understand that what we're seeing from him, nobody expected. He didn't expect to see 38 points in game 1, what he had last night, like 23 or what? Yeah, he had 23 last night. He was impressive, no doubt about that. I'm very concerned about James Harden. We got to stop. We got to have a conversation about James Harden that we haven't had. We talked about the pressure. We talked about, there have been, even though I'm not going to call him a choke artist like other people have. I don't feel that way about him. But he has had some questionable, highly questionable, even bad games in the postseason. He's had some good games. He's had some bad games. That's not where I'm going here, Jay. James Harden doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
He hasn't looked the same since that very hamstring injury he suffered last year in Brooklyn that you talked about. I'm not seeing a guy that can get by people with ease. I'm seeing the ball handling skills, but he can't get by folks. He can't shrug off defenders the way I was accustomed to seeing. He danced on you. He had people scared to death, not just because of his step back, Jay, but his quickness of foot and how he could get by you. He was able to draw fouls because he could get a step on you and put you in a compromising position where you had to foul and prevent him from scoring a basket because he was so lightning quick. Plus, he had a quick release. Plus, he could step back and drill a three. And I still think he can step back and drill a three. I'm talking separation. I don't see that. And the reason why that's a big deal, you didn't bring James Harden here to beat the Toronto Raptors. You brought him for the next round and the round after that. So what the likelihood is, here's what we've got. Because Chicago, you'll make a valiant effort, but you ain't beating Milwaukee. You losing that series. Let's just get that over with, okay? So we got Miami next, because they're going to beat Atlanta, because Atlanta is just depleted. If Collins and Capella were there, that would be different. But the fact is, even though they're talking about Collins coming back, he ain't, he's been out. I don't know how good he's going to be. Capella's hampered, obviously. I think this Miami is just a little too deep, and I think they win that series. Harden has to go against them. You talk about P.J. Tucker, you talk about Jimmy Butler, and a host of dudes they're going to throw at him. And if you're fortunate enough to pull that off, you got Milwaukee along with Boston or Brooklyn waiting for you. Hey, I assure you, Harden would rather go on vacation than face Brooklyn. I promise you that. Because there's some personal stuff going on there. Oh, Lord, he don't want that matchup.
That it's good that he's taken a step back, because if he was the volume shooter that we all knew, then Tyrese Maxey wouldn't go off. Tobias Harris has looked good in the last 2 games. Shake Milton is doing his thing. Thibault, he's not very present into this series because of the fact that, they don't want to implement something that's only there part-time. So therefore, he only got 10 minutes last night, but still. I don't think he's needed, but the main thing is James Harden looks good because he is not taking a lot of shots. When's the last time he took 11 shots, right? But still, it's kind of like, of those shots, he should be, getting at least 50% of them. So, I don't know what to say. I think there is a level of concern for James Harden just because of the fact that he went 3 for 11 last night. And the other night in game 1, I think he had like 19 points. Not saying that that was like incredibly bad, but that's not James Harden-esque. So I know everyone gets to be a prisoner of the moment, but this is the Raptors, and they are depleted. They don't have the necessary tools and ammunition to defeat some team like the 76ers. However, the next team I think they face are the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat are definitely are gonna defeat. I can't remember. I think it's I can't remember who they're playing because it doesn't really matter. Let's just put it that way. So Miami Heat, they're definitely getting out of the first round, and it's going to be Miami taking on Philadelphia. So you have to think to yourself, is their level of concern for James Harden? Because at the end of the day, he is going to face some heat when he gets faced with some competition. And trust me, there is competition in Miami. So, tell me what you guys think. Is there a level of concern for James Harden? All the Philly fans out there, let me know what you think. I think there is, to a point, but I like how he is distributing the ball. I like how others are taking more and more shots. Sometimes it doesn't really matter about the shot. It just, it matters how you play the game, like off the ball and stuff, setting picks, stuff like that. So it's pretty debatable, but right now there's no concern against the Raptors. But we'll see when they come to face Miami, second round. This is Jag from Jaggy Sports. Leave a comment in the comment section.